Yo, it's hip hop and barbershops.
You gon' love it.
Yo, it's hip hop and barbershops.
Yo, keep cut.
Yo, it's hip hop and barbershops.
It's insane.
Never go against the grain, simple and plain. It's hip hop and barbershops.
It's insane. You gon' love it. Yo, keep cut. You gon' love it. Yo, keep cut. It's insane.
And welcome to Hip Hop and Barbershops. I am your man B Styles, the anonymous nobody, and to the left of me is my man,
yours truly, Dr. Boogs, the Barber MD.
And holding us down in the middle is my man in the middle.
This your boy Will, aka VA, the music industry liaison.
All right. You know, we got a great show in store for y'all tonight. You know, of course, we're gonna be bringing that segment. You know, a little bit later on, you know that segment when we talk about those songs that we already knew was gonna pop. You know that segment? I want y'all to learn the name of the segments. We know the name of the segments. It's important for y'all to learn the name of the segments. And the name of the segment is It Ain't Hard to Tell, okay? Remember that. It ain't hard to tell.
Hard to tell.
All right? And we're gonna talk about, you know, the industry and some of the negative influences that we have seen over a period of time, and what we can do to try to change that a little bit, you know, because for everything that some people may perceive as negative, there could be some positive things in there, but it's just a matter of teasing it out. So, you know, that's what we're here for.
Now, there's a lot of positive that goes on, but for this show specifically, we want to talk about the negative things that are seen, the negative things that are heard, and the weaknesses that are just shown that we don't want everybody to see, but sometimes those things that we're not supposed to have or things that shouldn't be so good, they become so attractive and so appealing. So we got our views. We're going to share those views with you. Have your views. Will, what do you think?
Yes, definitely from an insider view, there are a lot of negatives that are portrayed to the public. And I mean, me personally, with kids, I don't see how a lot of these negatives could be positives, other than the fact that these guys are able to feed their families. You know, some of these cats who come from areas where they've never seen $20,000, let alone $50,000 to $75,000. So I can, you know, understand the attempt to give them a pass, but at the same time, like I said, I got kids, very impressionable. You know, not just grown. But I have an 8-year-old, you know, and a 21-year-old as well. So the effects that that it will have on each one of them is totally different. So I definitely, like I said, know firsthand the bad effects that it can have on our younger generation, the way it's being pushed.
Okay, well said.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. I mean, there has to be a balance. Definitely has to be a balance, and I think that right now the scale is just tilted too heavy one way right now.
Oh, definitely.
You know, so
it's one of the biggest issues right now with this generation. I guess this is Generation Y. The heavy drug use in music right now is ridiculous.
Absolutely.
You know, and it only gets worse when you add mental health. And then you give these cats, to them, what seems like an undisclosed amount of money, and now they have access to any and everything that they could ever want. Well, you're talking about 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds. They haven't been through anything as far as maturity goes.
Okay.
So you give them that much bread, and then you open the doors of access to them, to the world. They're going to cut a fool.
So, Brother Will, you just mentioned a very good item that's killing our community, especially with our young people, which is the drug use. So you're definitely hands-on, first line, seeing everything. Why do you think the the choice of drug and pill usage is so rampant in our music and in our culture?
Mental health.
Within the young folks.
Mental health.
Yeah.
Mental health. If you listen to the majority of these kids' music, they are indirectly asking for help. Let's take XXX for instance. One of the hottest records he has on the radio right now is talking about suicide. That was never a topic of discussion in hip hop in the 80s, in the 90s, or the early 2000s. Now it's a major discussion within hip hop and within our community. And what better way to deal with issues that I'm having with my identity or things that I don't quite understand that are going on in the world than to self-medicate?
Yeah, you know, we've always had some artists that had this predisposition with death. You know, Biggie talked about it, Pop talked about it. I see Death Around the Corner, The Warning, you know, and the list goes on. So it's like these things that are real for us, and you're right, Will, like these kids are in pain, they're hurting, you know, because they see a lot, they've been through a lot. Some of these folks that people think everything is sweet with them, and it's not. You know, it's just not sweet with them, and it does affect what comes out in the music. It does affect what they put or what they decide to put out there in terms of what they show in terms of a video representation. You know, and also, you know, their own persona. You know, so I mean, it's a lot of injured people out here that really could use some real help, and they don't realize that, you know, getting into this particular lane, this industry, as you said, is like, you know, now I have unlimited access to all the things that could really destroy me, really.
Right. Well, I mean, let's look at it from the standpoint of these are still babies too.
Yeah.
Like these are our babies that are getting into this music industry. That let's be honest, our kids spend more time outside of the house than they do inside of the house. So their major influences are coming from outside. So they're not prepared to deal with the world.
And
They're still immature, and then they're being put into this corporate business world, and they're still trying to figure it out on their own. And again, all of that comes back to us as elders and pre-elders, meaning the ones that are in the industry are not guiding them. You know, that there's no standards for them when they get in the music industry, and they weren't any prior to them coming into this. So the laws of survival come in, you know, of get it how I live it, which is all bad at the end of the day for our kids.
I totally agree. Will,
Me too.
Will, you said two strong words: corporate business and guidance. Because these kids or young adults, they're not being taught business practice or just business ideology, period. So they're going into this business where there's so much money and there's so much reading involved in terms of contractual things, or just even whatever you're trying to do. These kids are not reading. They're just being misguided, distracted, and you're giving them, like you said, a whole lot of money that they can't handle. And with that comes a whole lot more obligation and responsibility, which they're also not able to handle. So those weaknesses are always going to be shown.
Right. And then you're talking about reading. I mean, let's be honest. I've been reading contracts for a while. Some of the stuff I still don't understand, because it's all about verbiage. And when you start using words that don't generally go together in normal conversation, it's like, I don't understand what this means. Like, I gotta go find a law dictionary to figure out what this one sentence means. You know, and that one sentence could be the difference between owning everything that belongs, all my creativity, owning it all, or owning none of it. And that touches on a whole nother point of the bad things about where this music is at. None of our legends own anything in the business. None of our legends own anything in the business. every independent record label is signed to another major label. You feel what I'm saying? So it goes back to when our kids come into this industry and they don't see us sitting in the seats of power. Because their perception of power is, oh, he got a Bugatti.
Yeah.
Oh, he got to be the man. Well, no, just because if he was able to make enough money to buy a Bugatti, how much money did he make that dude that's running the label?
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that paperwork, all of that stuff ties into it, because if you're the one going out and working a job, you should be getting paid, a equal wage for the work, correct?
True.
So if your contract reads that you have an individual taking half your pay but doing none of the work, how is that fair?
Right.
But there is no guidance. There is no guidance for these contracts. There is no guidance for what publishing is. There is no guidance for a lot of this stuff. And a lot of these people, not just the kids that come into this game, but a lot of adults come in and then end up getting jerked, and now they're pissed because of the lack of education to the game.
Will speaking from the heart.
No, that's
seen it.
Everything is real that you're talking about, man. I mean, it's 100% just fact. And even aside from like the drug usage and things like that, it's the access, it's the corporate machine that continues to put this stuff out there. They want our children to see certain images. They want our children to see that other side, not the other side of life, but the side that they already know. And just keep repeating that and repeating that and repeating that all over and over again. So it's just like, it's crazy once you really think about it in the corporate interest versus what we know is good hip hop and quality hip hop that some of these kids will never have access to.
But listen, hold on, Will B Styles, we gotta go on break, but don't give him too much too soon. So we're gonna be right back. We're gonna go on a short little break. We gotta pay these bills, and then when we come back, we're gonna continue the conversation. Be here, don't be late.
What we're trying to do is take this whole industry and make it a bit more exposed to the world.